Hey guys, welcome back to the studio. Last week, we started our exploration of the pentatonic sound by learning some patterns and sequences that can get you moving these scales around the neck and get you beyond the typical pentatonic boxes. Today, we're going to be diving a little deeper into the pentatonic concept by learning some more angular sequences and then combining those with scale runs to get longer pentatonic lines that you can use over static or modal chords. Then, we'll learn some of the primary substitution principles that we can use to apply these pentatonic ideas to common chord changes. Finally, I'll show you guys two short etudes using this stuff over the first 8 bars to All the Things You Are. You guys ready? Let's get started. I think the key to the modern sound that pentatonic lines can give us is really in playing sequences that emphasize angularity. What I mean by that is that these patterns move around the pentatonic with combinations of skips and steps in a way that focuses our attention on fourths and other wide intervallic leaps. Check out these 3 pentatonic patterns in D minor to get an idea of how we can start playing around with this approach to the pentatonic scale on the guitar. My personal favorite of these is the second one. I find myself using chunks of that idea all the time when I'm using this sound in my solos. We don't have to be limited to only playing these sequences though. We can combine different scale runs and these patterns to lengthen our pentatonic lines and connect our ideas. Check out these 2 exercises for both an ascending and descending scale run combined with different pentatonic sequences. I bet the first thing you probably noticed is that there's some weird fingerings for these ones. Obviously, this isn't the only way to execute these patterns, but I find them to be reasonably comfortable and efficient. Playing the pentatonic this way is actually pretty difficult on the guitar, despite the fact that playing the scales themselves is relatively simple. Our instrument, even though it's tuned mostly in fourths, isn't all that nimble when it comes to playing fourths in a linear way like this, so we have to get used to some funny ergonomics in order to make it playable. Up next, I'll show you guys how we can apply this stuff to playing over a simple 2-5-1. When it comes to playing over the 2-5 with pentatonic ideas, we should know some basic substitution principles that we can use to play inside the changes. Over minor 2 chords, I can play pentatonic ideas off the root, the 5th, or the major 2nd. Over the dominant chord, you should first try using minor pentatonic off the 6th, the 5th, and the major 2nd. Each of those options will of course accentuate different parts of the harmony, but they're all going to work just fine. Lastly, for major 7 chords, we can use our minor pentatonic ideas off the 3rd, 6th, and the major 7th. The first 2 of those options are going to give you really inside sounds, while playing off the 7th is going to get you access to more of a major 7 sharp 11 sound. Check out these 2 phrases over a 2-5 in the key of F to give you an idea of how to put this all together. We can also use pentatonics to go outside the changes and create some really cool tensions. And we'll be getting into that stuff in a big way in a future lesson, but for now, we'll start that exploration by using a different substitution over the dominant chord. For a more outside sound over the C7 in these next 2-5 examples, I decided to use E-flat minor pentatonic to get a C7 altered sound. Check out how that sounds now. Even just using minor pentatonics and nothing else, we can make some really cool lines over super common chord changes. And the next thing we should do when exploring these concepts is to figure out how we can use them over a standard tune. I prepared 2 short etudes for you guys to check out over the first 8 bars to the chord changes of All the Things You Are. The first one features some pretty inside-sounding pentatonic lines, while the second one goes more outside the harmony in a couple of spots. Before we get to those though, I just want to give a quick shout out to TrueFire.com for helping to support the channel. TrueFire is an online lesson library that's host to literally thousands of courses on a wide range of musical topics from some really amazing artists and educators. With synced notation and tablature, as well as slowdown and looping features, it's super easy to follow along no matter what course you decide to pick up. While you wait for my courses to drop, you can use my link in the description or use offer code STUDIO for 35% off at checkout, and you'll also be supporting the channel at the same time. It's never been a better time to learn, practice, and play with TrueFire. Now, let's get back to the lesson and see how all this pentatonic language comes together over a standard set of changes. In this first etude, I wanted to use all the pentatonic sequencing and substitution I've shown you guys, but keep the lines pretty inside the harmony. We still get some cool, modern, and angular sounds, but without any strange or super tense harmonic choices. Take a listen to how that one sounds now. For today's last little etude, I wanted to show you guys how you can use more outside pentatonic substitution choices to make some really cool tensions happen over the same set of chord changes. See if you can clock what pentatonic scales I'm using to get that tension and over which chords it's happening. Thanks so much for hanging around all the way to the end of today's video. I really hope you've been able to learn something new about using pentatonic ideas in your solos. Now let me know down in the comments below if you've tried some of these pentatonic patterns before, or if you've got a favorite way of using the pentatonic sound. As always, if you did find today's lesson helpful, make sure you give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell for notifications. If you want to get access to the PDF for today's lesson, along with the whole back catalog for all the videos on my channel, you can get that over at my Patreon page for as little as $10 a month, or by just hitting that join button right here on YouTube. Studio member and higher patrons also get access to bonus videos as well. A big thank you to Ron Maestas and Louis Rosen for being studio fans. I really appreciate your support. A huge thank you is due to these awesome studio members for their support as well. PH, David Zuckerbraun, Max Irwin, Everton Armstrong, Jay Jarek, Stephen Schwartz, Jay Montana, Aaron Walters, Dorian Marley, Stephen Prager, Edson Soares, Bill Atterbury, Artie Sanchez, Guy Theobald, Pedro Santos, Zé Soares, Todd Stupnik, Michael LeBroy, and Patrick Caron. An extra special shout out to Jazz Luminaire patrons Vabav Babadi and Bill Jacob. Thank you guys all so much for being a part of the community. I'm David Shore, and thanks again for hanging out with me at the studio today. I'll see you guys next time.